Staying up in the wee hours of the morning. We can't thank him enough. The one, the only, the guy with the $1 million smile. My friend and yours from DiMarzio's site, Nima Tavallaey, live from Sweden. Nima, thank you so much for staying up in the middle of the night in Sweden, my friend.
No worries, and thanks for that presentation.
Hey, listen, all the pleasure in the world to have you on. Let's get right to it. You were the man, along with DiMarzio. Yesterday, Toronto was all over this story. Michael Bradley, Sampdoria talks. You guys were right on top of it. It was a shocker, and I made my calls today, and there was contact between Sampdoria and TFC. What is the latest that you have heard as of right now?
The latest that we've heard is that basically Sampdoria are they're looking to rebuild their midfield, and Brazilian Fernando is all but done for Spartak Moscow, and so they're looking for a replacement, and that's they've been targeting Michael Bradley as their number one guy, and however they know that Toronto aren't really too keen on letting him go, and Bradley also makes a ton of money over at Toronto, so they know that it won't be easy. It will be very difficult.
When was the initial phone call, the contact made that you know of, Nima?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm not going to speculate, but it was sometime these past few days. I can't tell you exactly.
Let's talk about the money issue. Myself included, and many over here in Toronto believe that it's too rich of a price, too steep for Sampdoria to take on Michael Bradley and the money he's making here. Can they do that, or is there something else they're trying to work out to make maybe more room on the roster to bring Michael over?
Well, I mean, he will cost a lot of money, and Sampdoria, they don't have that kind of money. That's just, that's a logical conclusion you can come to. But at the same time, we've seen them, Ferrero, he's got some good people around him, and they can probably, work something surprising out that we don't even know of. But there's a lot of things happening at Sampdoria right now.
Nima, let's talk about what this player would bring to Sampdoria. He knows Italy. He's played in Serie A with Roma. He raved about his time in Italy. He loved the people, the culture, the food, on and on. This is why, to me, I don't find this such of a long shot like many do. Obviously, he's making big money here in TFC. Obviously, the guys, Tim Bazbachenko, Greg Vanny, Bill Manny want to keep him here. But hey, I think the last word has to go to Michael Bradley. If he feels he wants to go back and maybe take a little bit less, he might do that. Do you agree?
Yeah, sure. I mean, absolutely. He loved his time in Italy, and also this Sampdoria is also probably a very good-sized club for him to go to, because at Chievo, obviously, he was a relegation battler with Roma. They were a big club. Sampdoria are kind of like a medium-sized club in a provincial town, so a provincial city. But still, I think he would. And Genoa is a lovely place. So I think he would love to go there, definitely. And also, tactically, I think he would do great there, because he's a very tenacious two-way midfielder. He runs a lot. He gives a lot of dynamism to the midfield, and I think that's something that Montella wants, or we know that that's the kind of midfielders he likes.
And obviously, for Montella to have a player like this, he has to be a starter. He would not be coming all the way from MLS once again, from North America to Europe to Italy to sit on the bench. So obviously these conversations have taken place that if Michael were to go to Sampdoria, he's starting. He's not sitting on the bench. Correct, Nima?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it's going to be such a huge investment on their part that they couldn't possibly, risk having a player that's paid that kind of money be on the bench. I mean, it goes without saying.
Where do you think now the negotiations are? Are they stalled? Will they pick up again? Do you believe that they'll wait till after this Copa America is done with USA and reach out again? Where do you believe it's at now?
I personally believe that if any more contact will be made, it will be made after the match between Argentina and the USA.
And let's say he has a wonderful match like he's had so far in Copa America. Do you believe then it will be much, much more harder for Sampdoria to attract him, because then the price obviously will keep getting higher and higher?
I think what you touched on earlier now, where I personally think how the cookie will crumble, so to speak. I think Michael Bradley will and what he wants to do will be the deciding factor here. I really do. I think if he decides, if he feels really wooed by the Sampdoria project and the idea of going back to Italy and playing for Montella, and getting into that kind of thing again, then I think he will go. I think Toronto will just have to, they will work something out, but Toronto will be forced to let him go if that's what he wants to do.
Lastly is this, Nima, and then we'll let you go. We really appreciate you staying up in the wee hours of the morning. I saw a couple things on a couple different Italian sites that cover Serie A and the transfer market, and they were mentioning about the appetite for Michael to get back to playing with real, smart, intelligent, world-class players. Not that TFC doesn't have any. Of course, they have some. But just the quality of play I think he yearns to get back to, and that's in Italy and Europe. Do you think that could be a big turning point, a big part in this decision as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt that the Serie A is a better league than the MLS. I mean, that's just the truth. And stating that doesn't mean that the MLS is not a good league. That's just not it. Both of those things can be true at the same time. No, I really think that for him, this is he's not going to Italy to be a tourist. He's not going there. He's going there because he wants to play at the highest level. There's no doubt about that. If he decides to go, I mean, as I said, this thing is far from clear, far from the done deal. Far from it. It's basically an idea Sampdoria have, and Toronto aren't too keen. Also, given how I think it's Michael Bradley's uncle, who's like a PR manager at the club. I mean, there's at Toronto, so I don't think this won't be easy.
Right, but have they closed when TFC got that call from Sampdoria? When the contacts were made, do you know if TFC basically laughed it off and said no, never, don't bother us with this, he's not going anywhere, or did they leave that door open a bit?
I haven't received any confirmations as to how that contact would have gone if it was taken that directly. I don't know, but I think that it feels like there must be some sort of contact between either some representatives of the player and Sampdoria, or Sampdoria and Toronto. So there's some contact, but. It all depends on what Michael Bradley wants. I keep saying this. I think whether or not Toronto, they can say that, but I think that if Michael Bradley wants to go, he will go.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Nima, thanks for staying up in the wee hours of the morning. We really appreciate it. As we let you go, where can people follow you on Twitter and that great site, DiMarzio? What do you guys got up there right now that's hot and really explosive for people to read? We know about the Michael Bradley situation, but what else can people have a look at?
Yeah, we got some news on DiMarzio's site about Yaya Touré and his negotiation with Inter, about Inter's negotiation for Candreva. We've got some other Sampdoria news with Sampdoria getting ready to sign Budimir from Crotone and Schick from Sparta Prague. There's a ton of stuff. Pablo Zabaleta and Roma. There's tons of stuff. I say go in there and read. There's so much stuff. There. And earlier today, my colleague David Amoyal tweeted some interesting stuff about Morata and Chelsea. So definitely check out the DiMarzio site now. I definitely get the app, whatever. Just make sure you're updated there, because we've got a lot of good stuff coming up right now.
And basically, you guys...
It's not going to end anytime soon by the sound of it.
No, absolutely not. And basically, you guys got the espresso machine next to you and David, continuously drinking that. You're up 24/7, especially this busy time of year. It's unbelievable. Great stuff, Nima. We really appreciate it. Keep up the great work at the DiMarzio site with David and yourself. You guys never sleep, and you do a great job. Thanks again, Nima.
Thanks a lot. And also, I got to give a shout out to Zeke, Eddie, and Gianluca, who are the other guys on the site. We're a great team, and it's just a pleasure working with these guys.
And you're a class act. You're a team player. That's why we love having you on. You don't want to take all the credit. You spread it around. Well done. Nima, thanks again, my friend.
Thank you so much, and have a good show.